Hey, everybody, in this episode of the GH Report, we're going to try to pick up the pieces. Without James Lott Jr. here anymore, it's up to us to carry on the mental of the GH Report. Let's see how we do next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, everybody, welcome. When you hear that music, it can only mean one thing. You're either watching General Hospital at home, or actually, you're watching the GH Report right here in AfterBuzz. So actually, it could mean two things. Look at that. Hey, everybody, welcome. As always, we like to break down the week's goings here at Port Charles. And we're going to be doing it now without James Lott Jr. We're going to try it. That's it. Yes, we are, 1 week minus James Lott Jr. Can we carry on? I don't know. But start putting your, feel free in the chat or tweet us what you think the over-under is, if James Lott Jr. will be here before Christmas or not.
Yeah, I'm saying sweeps. Yes. I think it's going to be a surprise sweeps.
Oh, all right.
Since now online content can be a part of sweeps, because I just said so.
Oh, look at that. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyCodeJackie.
And I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys. You can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one. And we pulled a little bit of a Walking Dead, and now the role of James Lott Jr. will be played by
me. I am Walker, and you can talk to me on Twitter. I am Walker R.
Look at that. Cool. Very nice. Because, GH is always best talked about in threes. I think that's a good round number.
He was here for YNR. I was like, well, why not stay for GH?
I know, it's a surprise.
Look at that. As folks, you can always like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up while you're at it there. And Lucretia's got her computer up and running, which means the chat is up and running as well. So feel free to hop in there and share your thoughts about anything in particular about this week's goings-on in Port Charles, or just General Hospital in general, as we break down the week that was. I will give a special shout-out, though, real quick. I'm going to give a shout-out to Josie, because she's got really cool blue hair. She's got a haircut, got really cool blue hair. So I'm going to give a shout-out to Josie.
Aww.
Look at that. So, you go to bed.
And it's funny, the chat is actually talking about, Taylor Jones brought up she misses the old theme song there, and we were just talking about that before we got on the air.
Yes, we were. Yeah, it's I feel like this one, gosh, I don't know how long this version's been around, but I'm ready to move on.
Yeah,
next. Not doing much. Yeah, but it is so short though too. Yeah. I mean, I guess you miss like in the '90s where you got really that long extended shot of everybody, and now it's just super fast, and it's not even the whole cast. They kind of rotate everybody through those graphics.
Yeah, I think they need to go back to like the sexy shots and openings. It's daytime, but let's spice it up like nighttime. Make it more HBO. Yeah.
I remember Frank was saying that it's like a time constraint issue, but YNR has still kept their like full, they swap out the characters each day, but they, you still get that same kind of like feel. So I wish they would bring that back.
Well, it's interesting because I guess I don't notice as much if I watch it on my DVR, but when I watch it online, when you see like it's only like around 36 minutes running time, it is like there is not a lot of wiggle room. So I can understand why you're putting a lot of room in the opening. It's like, well, that's valuable story time that we're losing. Oh, if it gave us less Manlanders, I'd be.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like some of these stories could use a lot less time.
A lot less time.
Yes. Let's just hop right into this Manlander story, because I can't stand it. So let's talk about it right up front. This storyline's terrible, you guys, and this week did nothing. It only made it worse.
Yeah. Why are they dragging Spinelli down with this crap?
No. This was the worst. I don't know why all of a sudden he had such a bee in his bonnet about this, and the whole reveal. Yeah. The whole reveal was just. So cheesy. Now, Walker, people, I think everybody watching the show knows I can't stand this storyline. Yeah. But you're new to the panel here, so what do you feel about the Manlander story?
I am surprised that it's still going on. I understand. Okay, so I'm stepping out from the fan and thinking as like the soap blogger, journalist, whatever. I understand that they had to give Ryan Pavey something to do while Kirsten was gone. And they thought, let's give him the story. But Kirsten's back. This needs to go away.
Yes.
Like, now.
Yeah, like, it really should have never happened, because I really don't know what they were smoking, because I've done a lot of that stuff and have never come up with anything as stupid as Manlanders. And it's just like, why was this your thought, and why did you think people were going to like it? Because I have no problem, pairing him with Amy in a story. But why a dumb blog?
But my question is GH going to use this to actually have this book come out? Like, was this all to pimp out a book?
Oh,
No.
Oh, man.
Because they've done this
Yeah,
before.
they did
in
the
the
Secret
past.
Life of
Yeah.
Damien
Spinelli.
Spinelli,
Yeah.
which we got last week from
That's true.
James. But yeah, that was funny. And it made sense. Diane was a side character, loved Spinelli. They were close, putting the book in there and doing that. Just like they did on How I Met Your Mother with Barney's Playbook, it had to do with the character and made total sense. So you didn't think, oh, okay. But this, you're like, why did we need this?
Well, all right. Anybody watching right now in the chat, please let us know if this book did come out. If they said, we're going to publish this, would you actually buy it?
Yeah.
Would you buy a Man Landers book? Or would you be like Felicia and Mac, who bought multiples to give away for Christmas gifts?
Jesus.
You cannot, man. You keep tanking these characters of the storyline.
But you know what? The bright side is, you just said Felicia and Mac. We got to see Felicia and Mac.
And I'm all for that, but when they give them the worst things to do, whether it's when Maxie surprises Nathan and they run into her at the floating river, it's like, oh, tell us about your flight. Like, oh, that's a terrible line, Felicia. Like this one, it's like, oh, we bought multiple copies to give away as Christmas gifts. What? No. No.
I think based on my Throwback Thursday from the other day with John J. York in Playgirl, I want him to come into the studio so I can ask him, what was worse, doing Playgirl or the Manlander storyline? And we all know I'll ask it because, I love to ask about those magazine covers.
But we got to know it's got to be Man Landers.
Yeah.
Come on. That Playgirl cover looked good.
Yeah, or Ryan Pavey. We got to get him back in here. I'll just message him later about, like, dude, did you enjoy taking these modeling photos or Man Landers more? Which one could have been worse?
Now, Walker, I would agree with you where they sat around with Kirsten off the canvas for a while. They had to think of something for them to do. But it makes me so sad to think that this was like the best storyline they could think of, that for Ryan and for Nathan's character.
I have no words.
No, all right.
Like, I'm going to sip tea.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know we've talked about this before, but when you still have the revelation of like who his real father is, that's still on the table. That could have been a storyline that you could have pursued.
Yeah, and
You could
that
just
would have been
had a
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could have had a cool police investigation.
But I remember they were going to go that route with like, is he a Cassadine? Is he not a Cassadine? But now with like really no Cassadines on the show, because I don't really consider Valentin a true Cassadine. Like that's like, who cares about that part? Like if the Cassadine part, but maybe like it was,
Yeah.
it could be somebody different.
Yeah, if Nicholas was there, because
Yes.
Valentin and Nathan already have a little bit of a rivalry, so it wouldn't necessarily be as interesting to see him become like, brother, nephew, whatever, to Valentin, because they already have this issue.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be more interesting to see somebody like Nicholas, who probably didn't give two thoughts to Nathan, be in this story, worry about struggling? That'd be different, and that would have been interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler's
Yeah.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
We need to clarify that.
Oh, okay. Well, I like Nick Stavel, all right?
He was great with he was great with
Ava.
Yeah. Now, Walker, would you consider because you don't consider Valentin a true Cassadine?
Well-
you feel like the same way like Alexis? Because they're both-
No. So I say that about Valentin because the character to me hasn't been established enough to actually. They brought Valentin in. We've heard about Valentin for years. I remember a few years right before the writer's strike. I guess that was like 10 years ago now. They were going to bring Valentin on, and the guy who played he was on All My Children, Matt. I don't want to pronounce his last name because I'll butcher it. He was supposed to play Valentin, and they had said like he was the scariest man. Helena was terrified of him, and then we get this guy, and I'm just like, Helena was scared of this guy, like.
Yeah, he's just honestly charming. I mean, in a Patrick Bateman sort of way, but like, Reese Witherspoon doesn't get hacked up in that movie, so you're fine.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems hard for me to believe that she was scared of him, considering that she used his sperm sample to help to make the baby there. So it's like, I don't think you do that for somebody that you're intimidated by. Why would you risk like taking them off and do something like that?
And two, like I can sort of see Helena making up that story and being like, okay, Helena is just like making up this story so people don't go looking for Valentin and Lulu doesn't get this kid. But at the same time, why would she not want to be around the kid? Why would she make
Yeah,
it? I mean, like, they didn't really sort of explain that
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
I don't feel like the character was
Yeah.
really fleshed out. So
It's as we've talked about before. I was not a huge fan of the way that he was introduced with such a strike against him with killing Nicholas that it just made it tough to engage. Like at least me as an audience member, like really like get on board. But the stuff with Nina, the stuff with Charlotte, and stuff, it's kind of won me over a little bit. But still, it's still that whole Nicholas thing is hanging on him.
see, that part is what made him interesting to me. It is like if you're gonna have a character who's gonna be that type of person, stick with that the whole way through and let that be the character. Don't then decide, oh well, you know what? The audience doesn't like this. We have to soften him, and let's just throw him into these contrived, situations and relationships to redeem him.
I think it really had more to do with the fact that James Patrick Stewart is just so likable. I mean, even on Supernatural, when he kills, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen this, but he kills Bobby Singer, a very
What?
important character.
No.
He just straight up, but you're still just like, wow, he's just so charming. And I feel like, they had the intention of making him evil, but they kind of wanted him to stick around and his chemistry with Nina, so they're like, well, this is our half-ass way of redeeming him. And I think these scenes with Charlotte are great, but I really get annoyed when they obviously meant to go another way with a character, and then they'll change halfway through and don't really explain stuff. I mean, at least Franco had a brain tumor that was used in court of law. And then ever since then, we're like, okay, yeah, he hasn't done anything that bad. We're fine. Yeah.
Now, it would be a shame. It would have been cooler to see. We've seen so much internal struggle with the Quartermaines about like jockeying for position at ELQ or infighting. It would have been cool to see something like with the Cassadine side of that if he had Nicholas back on the canvas. But
Yes,
that would be interesting.
Honestly, I think that would have saved it. I think if Nicholas was there and they kind of, fans always talk about rebuilding the Quartermaines, like rebuild the Cassadines, Nicholas and maybe have Valentin, and then throw Alexis and the girls in there more because
you've got Molly, Christina,
and Sam, all of them. You don't really get to see that.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing I miss with Alexis is that she doesn't have somebody like Nicholas to go over and talk to. It was just a nice different dynamic, and I would take it at least with Valentin. At least something to get her off the whole talking about Julian all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, Julian this, Julian that. So that'll segue into we want to talk about Jason or John Doe or Jake Doe waking up there finally. He's awake after that. He got sung to by his sons, this old man, and he wakes up. And now we get to just see Sam. The whole stuff with Sam was just killing me this week.
Yeah, like Sam is just a character that will go through these bouts where it's just, I don't really like her storyline because it's just too melodramatic. And, there are other times where it's great, but now it's just like, I just don't care.
She's so smothering.
Yeah.
Walker, please tell me what your feelings are on Sam. Am I the only one that's thinking, Sam is just way too smothering and these storylines aren't doing her any good?
These storylines are not doing her any justice. Even the hallucination storylines are not doing her any justice. I have to give it she, at least during when she was seeing the vision, she was playing, the heck out of it. But now it's just like, the only interesting thing with this Jake Doe, Jason storyline was how they had, they didn't show his face and the bandages. So kind of maybe people thought like, oh wait, what if they just like all of a sudden reveal that it's, Steve is in the bed and it's not Billy, but but the kids and all of that. I'm ready for patient 6 or whatever.
Yeah, yes.
Just get to town and let's get this ball rolling.
Yeah, they finally revealed his full face. There.
Brother. So before we move on to the cool stuff about this storyline, this stuff there with Sam, there's a scene where after Jason wakes up and she just is going to be sitting there, and Alexis comes in, and that's I think what on Friday's episode, it's like you need to go to the hospital, you need to go get your test to make sure you're fine. And then she looks over to Jason and says, well, what will you do by yourself? Like, what? He's here just healing. Just, it's okay, Sam. You don't need to be on top of him 24/7. Oh, I'm just like, Sam, please.
Character regression. Do they not remember or, they need to go back and watch when Sam first came to town.
Yeah.
That Sam and this Sam are night and day.
Yeah, that's the thing, is Sam will go through these periods, and not all of them have been without Jason. When her and Jason first got together, she was great. She was a strong woman, but Jason, as it's progressed with that relationship, tends to be her downfall.
Yeah.
Like, when she was with Patrick, she had a lot more fire, even. And that's the thing, is, you know, it's like she just becomes obsessed with him. Same thing as what happens to Elizabeth.
Well, she becomes like whatever the storyline is. She seems to just focus on that, and she will not be swayed from. As if everybody says, "Don't do this, Sam," I'm still going to do it, and it always ends up badly. So, I'm like, good stuff with just so basically, then Jason calls over Sonny and Carly and says, "You know what? I can't do this anymore. You know, if you have any troubles with the family or the business, you can't reach out to me anymore. I got to take care of my own." I guess certainly from a character standpoint, it makes sense. I mean, you know, gosh, I can understand if you've already kind of escaped the mob and you've kind of tiptoed back into it slightly to help out your friends. If you want to have a near-death experience, I guess that kind of really does make you reevaluate your priorities in life.
Yeah, and I will, you know, eat crow a little bit, I guess, here and say that I didn't have an issue with the way that Sonny and Carly reacted. I thought that they did a pretty decent job. I'm going to give them a little bit of credit this week.
Yeah.
Well, they should. They've had practice.
Exactly.
I mean, this is not the first time he's done that, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, or.
Yeah,
I mean,
because they know, they're like, he says that now.
Yeah.
But then they're gonna get the real Jason. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel like I've never got Jason back. I think he's been pulling away
Oh
from
my
last time anyway.
god, that dialogue is like, come on.
Just so we can just say, like, I knew it. It just wasn't right when the other guy was here.
Yeah.
Now it feels right. So we do get to see finally this whole. All right. So tell me about this. If this was frustrating you guys, so we first meet him. He's in the wheelchair. He's got the mask and the glasses on because you need to do that. So we get to see the great shot of him struggling, and he takes the glasses off. If he is such a danger and such a threat, they're still going to keep him in there in that wheelchair, but they're just going to leave the mask on. Nobody ever at any time puts the sunglasses back on the guy. They just like, nah, we're just going to leave those off now. It's like, what was the whole point of those glasses then? They weren't that essential. Because clearly the mask is, I guess, for some reason. Like, is he going to bite people?
I think that's it. It's like a muzzle.
Oh, brother.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, that's the other thing, too, is that, and I tweeted this out, that Ava and Julian, before they came to Port Charles, they were coming after to get Sonny. You'd think, like, even though at that time Jason was dead, for all they knew, they'd still know about his organization, who his closest his inner circle was. So you'd know about Jason Morgan at that point. You'd know exactly what he would look like. Are you telling me that part of the mask, since you can only see it like from like maybe the nose down, that you still wouldn't like say, hey, wait a minute?
Yeah, it's shocked me that Ava hasn't at least been like, he seems familiar, because you'd think she'd seen a picture.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. But I do get that, you know, she's not going to put two and two together. You know, certainly not, you know, all these sexy dreams she has about Griffin. I mean, like, that's the thing, is like, everybody just looks like Griffin and by then, and you're just like, So I'm going to give her a pass on that one. But I love Ava, so.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
What's it like to Walker? Are you a big Steve Burton fan? Are you excited to have his version of Jason Morgan back on the canvas?
You know what? If it's good for the show, then I love it.
And if it's bad for the show, you hate it?
Well, if it's bad for the show, well, they have other problems that they can focus on. Steve is the far least of that.
I'm just glad to have him. I was hoping they weren't going to drag this out, and please do not drag him getting back to Port Charles, because I could not take another like injection scene where he just has to lay there and just get injected. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to get his way there, but we may have more adventures till he actually sees everybody, because I'm like, with sweeps coming up, you know, the big, oh my God, it's the real Jason. But they may actually sort of keep that with the reveal that Billy Miller's not him, that this guy's coming back. So I don't know. They may have him get there sooner.
Do we honestly believe that Steve is not Jason?
No,
I believe Steve is Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you would have those scenes where it's Carly like, I just feel like we never got him back. Then to all of a sudden turn out that Billy Miller was the real Jason.
And also, Steve Burton's not coming back not to play Jason. That's just.
I think the fans would go through the roof. All of a sudden he goes like, no, I'm just some guy, Carl, who got plastic surgery to look like him. So I'm just Carl. Like, what?
But do you think this storyline having Ava be the one introduced, is this like a redeeming thing for Ava? Do you think this is like her character's done so much stuff that like this is her way to kind of like can come back to Port Charles and live in peace and, you know?
I like want her and Griffin to get together, and I want Ava to get in a good place with her kids. But I don't even care if she gets peace with Sonny and Carly. I just want them to lick her boots, knowing that she is the one that saved Jason. I actually want them to have to eat crow and just have to apologize to Ava just once and just know that she is the one that saved Jason. And just those little passive-aggressive looks. I don't need her to be a saint. This is it. This is good. Just enough to know that she is the one who saved Jason, that they all love more than anything.
No, that's
more than Connie. Connie's forgiven.
Yeah. Well, who really liked Connie?
Yeah.
I mean, Tracy, honestly, I get,
Olivia.
yeah. And them, they get to be mad. Yeah, Sonny and Carly, they said their piece with her.
I did like the conversation though between Jason and Ava though, where she goes, "I'm trying to be a better person." He's like, "Well, do you want to be a good person? Then just be a good person." It was kind of a nice, just a kind of little conversation between them. It's like, all right, yeah, Ava, maybe you can actually try to do something for others, not worry so much about yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing with her character is we're seeing her genuinely think about doing the right thing as opposed to before when she had just been like, screw it. No, I ain't involved.
I love it though about Ava.
Yeah.
If you tell her not to do something, she will do it. So no matter how many times they said, don't go by this patient, don't even be near him, it would always just like, I just got to go walking right in and talk.
I have to be involved.
Yeah, I got to ask a bunch of questions. And she asks him so many times, what's your name? What's your name? And he does not say anything. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you say your name to somebody? Clearly, she knows Port Charles, so why wouldn't you say like that? If you knew that this phone number I told you, the area code is in Port Charles, why would I not tell you what my real name is? Because that might at least
That is
exactly.
That is
I don't
true.
get
like,
that.
Like
Maybe no.
Let's not. I hope this is not a whole like, oh, he doesn't know who he is. We don't need to do that storyline again.
But if you remember this number,
but if you're like, here, call Sonny's house.
Yeah.
Which the doctor did. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah.
He obviously knows Sonny, and and that's what I feel like. It's like, why did he not? Yeah.
Who do we think is responsible for Jason being in that hospital and is now on the way to at least was going to take him off the hospital's hands? Do you think is it a Cassadine?
I would think that a lot of this does have to do with the Cassadines, because I think that, when we had the Jake Doe character, remember being on the island, being tortured, I feel like this is where he was picked up and then brainwashed to be Jason, because they maybe had this Jason and they put him in the clinic where Valentin went, and that kind of makes sense to be all involved with the Cassadines.
But it's interesting, but there has to be someone on the canvas as the big bad that's behind all of this, right? Like, you can't tell the story without there being like, Helena was behind this the whole time. Really? Just like no payoff of like showdown of you kept me hostage. No,
Yeah.
So I'm curious, and I don't think it's Valentin, because why would he send Ava?
Exactly.
Like that. Those pieces don't add up. So
Jerry Jacks.
Oh,
that would be really good.
That would be a good one.
Because Jerry's a fan favorite.
Yeah, I mean, and he would know all about Jason, so I mean, I could see that.
And he was working with Helena.
Yeah, so I mean, I could see that now with Helena dead, that he could be kind of following up on some of her things.
And if I could have James Patrick Stewart and Sebastian Rossi on my screen at the same time, that would be amazing.
What is he doing right now? Is he still on Supernatural? Or
no, Balthazar has not been on for like the last 2 seasons.
Oh, all right.
But a missing piece of that's going to be you have Jerry, then we're not going to have Jax.
Yeah, I mean, now he's free to come back. I mean, but Dubai, he's got a lot of stuff going on in Dubai.
Yeah,
Walker. I mean, you can't ever leave Dubai once you're there.
I mean, and all the pieces, we don't need all the characters to make a storyline work.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, certainly we've seen that with Nicholas. I mean, it's been great not having that character on the canvas where he gets name checked constantly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that is a little tiresome. But so Jason, with his paperclip, and thanks to Ava, picks his locks, takes off the mask. Finally, we get the big. We don't even get to see it.
Come off. It was like up, cut, and then they've had some weird editing lately. Yeah. It's like that would have been more dramatic to be like.
And I don't know, for as much as everybody is like, you'd never escape this hospital, he Jason got up pretty easily.
It is Jason Morgan.
Exactly. Superman.
Yeah.
The original Superman.
Yeah, that's the thing is I almost feel like Jason Bourne was a ripoff of Jason Morgan because he even kind of looks like Matt Damon.
Yeah. So now he's on the loose, which I'm excited about. But it seems like he's going to be in Russia for a little while. But I guess Griffin is going to fly to Russia, so maybe they're going to meet.
No.
We'll see. We've got Ava, of course, stays behind in the hospital. She's able to at least kind of dodge the bullet of any suspicion with Jason's escape. So she's already got one treatment done for her skin, and now Griffin's on the trail to try to get her out of there.
No.
But I like that. I'm just going. Ava or Anna, just tell me if you get an address. I'm just gonna fly to Russia, and fingers crossed I find her.
Yeah, it's so romantic.
I feel like this took way too long. He's been talking about flying to St. Petersburg for so long. It's been like weeks.
Yeah,
go already.
That is the thing. It's like, dude, like the hand, but it's very Chuck-like, and I love Chuck. So yeah, the hand wringing, the will they, won't they crap. It's like, oh God, you got me in the storyline. Just keep going. And then the last scene being like with Franco being the one to get him to go. It's like, oh yeah, they were really funny together. I think they need to be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, and I don't know how you, because I know it's just a staple of the genre, but it drives me crazy, are these dumb dreams where you know that this character is not really there, and they come over and they have like some kind of, intimate moment, and then all of a sudden they wake up, what? I'm like, so the Ava and Griffin dream, I'm like, why are we watching this? I mean, and maybe that's just me. I have no tolerance for those dumb dreams. It just drives me crazy.
You never have any dumb dreams like that during the day, Frank,
Oh yeah, but I don't make people watch them.
Yeah, exactly. That is the thing. It's like, but he's pretty, so we'll just deal with it. It's soaps.
I mean, I guess you need to see this, but I feel like if what you're showing in the dream is way more interesting than what's happening in the current storyline, then you're
There's a problem. Yeah.
And I feel like that happens way too much with General Hospitals. They tease you with like, this would be great for the story. Please make this happen. Like, nope, just a dream.
Yeah, like the Sam shooting Sonny. Her shooting him in the dream was way cooler than when it actually happened. And then it just got dragged out. And it's like, oh. So it's not just sex, guys. It's the murder fantasies, too.
Yeah. But at least we get to have Franco and Griffin. I like that little conversation there. Yeah. And Franco's had a nice big week here, too.
I love Franco.
I love Franco. In my mind, I just think it's Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what I just think.
I do too, but I'm just like, I don't care. It's Roger. He's adorable.
Yeah. It's more if it's Roger.
Exactly.
It's Roger. That's why I never had any hang-ups of like, oh my gosh, can you believe this was Franco? It's like, oh, that Franco was James Franco. Like, this is Roger. Like, this is a completely different character.
Yeah, that is how I think of it. It's
I
like,
didn't even think of like any of the past stuff.
Well, and two, they even did a pretty good way of writing it out. Like, they're like, brain tumor, all done, and then he hasn't murdered anyone since. So, like, get over it, people.
Yeah.
God.
So we see him talking to his mom, and she tells him the story about what happened to, baby Drew, 3 years old, he ends up dying. I didn't buy that story as she's saying it. I mean, because we know there's more to it since we already know that, Jake Doe is alive and well. But I was surprised that Todd bought it so easily.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't think Franco or Todd or whatever we want to call him bought it. Like, I think he's like, she's crazy, but I guess he's dead. Like, whatever.
Yeah. And I don't understand. I mean, all right, your mom, as she says, like she's describing to Elizabeth and to Scotty, like, oh yeah, my mom's really just emotionally fragile. She's made some bad decisions. All right, just to placate her, say you're not going to tell anybody.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's not going to tell Elizabeth, I find irritating.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't make sense. To me, if the information would hurt Elizabeth in any way, I could so see Franco keeping that a secret. But I don't really understand why. I mean, because, too, it's like, if you really believe he is dead, that's why I think he really doesn't. He's just saying he does to maybe try to move on. Because that's the thing, is if you don't think he's dead is the only reason not to say anything because of how that might affect stuff. But if he's dead, he's dead. It doesn't matter.
No, I don't think he believes because why? I try to use rationale watching soaps, but
It's
why would you spend so much time when these storylines, him going through this and then to leave it right there? I think I kind of at first I was like, oh, this is like grading, like, oh my gosh, who's this? Who's my twin or whatever? But it's kind of smart to have Franco. I think he's gonna be the one that figures it out.
Yeah, I think he will be because he's the only one that has all of the information other than his mother.
And I like that. And like this storyline, like Steve is like pretty much affecting. It's gonna be the whole show. Like you have Franco, you have this aspect, and then we already got the Ava, and then you got the Griffin. Pretty much literally the whole cast is going to be affected by this.
And that's what they said, so I guess it's good that some things never change.
Yeah.
The show really does revolve around Steve Burton. Yeah.
But I mean, I like the conversation between Franco and Scotty. And Scotty's like, hey, I'm just like I'm trying to be like my father was, and be a straight shooter and be upfront. And so you got to tell Elizabeth. And the fact that Franco just doesn't, after they've already had the discussion, like, hey, no more lies between us. We're always going to be honest with each other. Like, then Franco, why didn't you just say anything?
Yeah, and I feel like maybe he's looking to investigate more before he says anything. Because I like to think Franco's the best. But yeah, I did love that Scotty wants to be more like Lee. And that's a good... We need more scenes with Scotty. And we do need Serena,
Yeah.
Oh, that was... Just that I guess
that
episode, that 15 minutes we got of Scotty, Serena, and Lucy was like, we want, like, that was...
Yeah, and it's like when you see that, you're just like, there's so much you could do with them. Why aren't they on the canvas more? And don't give me a Felicia. I buy about a bunch of books to give away for Christmas. I don't want that. No, not at all.
We want like real stuff. And as I say, the scenes with Scotty and Franco, how they've been, those are real scenes. Scotty is a real character affecting stuff. Let's have that.
And they have such a great dynamic anyway. So I could literally watch them all day.
Yeah, I'd love to see more Baldwin family interaction. That's why, I mean, Franco didn't even get to meet Serena. And that's just weird.
I know.
Yeah.
So he's decided, and because I don't understand, like, why not tell Elizabeth what's the worst that would happen? Because she's already moved on from Jason, what she thinks is Jason.
Yeah.
So if you knew that this twin was alive, so why would you care about this twin that you don't even know about? But I don't know why he thinks people would be obsessed with this. But I also think wouldn't the Quartermaines appreciate some closure? You know? But anyway, we don't have any of that. So, but we do get to have Jason, Billy Miller's Jason, give Franco a call after he keeps seeing the postcard from his show. And then when he finds out, like, oh, yeah, coma patients can hear everything that you say. They just can't, they don't have the strength to answer you. He's like, whoops. I probably said too much in the room when I talked to Jason. And Jason gives him a call, like, hey, you haven't come and visit me yet. What's up?
Yeah, don't you love how that's a big soap trope? Always. It's like, coma patient, there's going to be a reveal.
Oh, my God.
But, so I'll be curious to see what that conversation is like between Billy Miller and Franco.
I think he's going to be the one to ask Franco to investigate more and figure out what that was. He's like, yeah, what are you talking about? And then, Franco might be more honest with him. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
If the setup for this storyline could be really good, where you have, the enemies of the circle, of the inner circle, are the ones that are actually helping. You got Ava's the one helping Jason, and then you have Franco's the one that's helping, Jake Doe over on this side.
Yeah.
I think I like that trend. It's not Sonny and Carly,
Jason, the same group of people. Yeah.
solving the problems. Just like, wait, the people that you hate the most are the ones that are going to come to your aid, and
that's actually a good call. I do like that. And I mean, Walker, please don't forget about Brick. Brick's on the on the hunt. He's gonna investigate this whole great phone call from St. Petersburg.
I love Stephen A. Smith, but we can't have Sean back.
I know.
I know.
Like, we can't have Sean.
Yeah.
Not when you get Stephen A. Smith. Come on, he's bringing both barrels to that performance.
Oh.
Good old Brick. Yep. So I thought he tracked down that number quick though. Figured it all out.
Got it.
But that Griffin comes by at that same time and says, like, oh, maybe it was Ava. Like, at one point would Ava have gotten out of that number? And I know they say, like, oh, maybe Morgan gave it to her. Like, really?
Yeah, that was the thing, is Griffin was grasping at straws because he just needs to find Ava. It's so hot. I'm sorry. I do love this Griffin. Finally gets a love story, and it's with Ava, who's the best.
He had a love story.
Like, barely with
Jessica Buchanan.
Yeah, I was like, it was barely there, but yeah.
Well, because they teased it for so long, and then they finally kind of started getting a little hot and heavy.
Yeah,
and then
that was it. And it's like, now we got Ava.
Yeah, I mean, I am tired of Griffin's, like, just his deflections and his refusal to do this. Like, just Get on with it already.
Yeah. You're not, leave the priest, leave all that behind. Let's kind of like get over your, whatever hang-ups and just,
I feel, and I don't know if you guys agree with this. It seems like when you think about like a lot of the romantic relationships that they've tried to develop over the past 2-3 years, that I feel like it's typical where they come up with there's numerous reasons why they can't, and they just dwell on that side for so long. And then they get together for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they just kind of sabotage the relationship.
Yeah, there hasn't been like a couple that just like happily gets together and just like are, bam, we are together. I have no issues. I have no hang-ups. Just like real life, like, oh, we're dating now.
It wouldn't be soaps if we didn't have that. Because you think about Hayden and Finn and Frizz and some of these other relationships that were good because they started out as friends at least, and they didn't really have too much like conflict with each other, like cheating, but then they would throw these like, a drug addiction, or the sad thing is Liz and Franco, who should be the most complicated, are sadly the least complicated at times. Yeah.
Well, because I think like if we Curtis and Jordan, like we took forever to get that together, and then even when they started together, then it just all of a sudden started sabotaging right out of the gate.
Yeah, and it was like, why? Like, why get them together if you were just going to break them up?
Yeah, something like Kiki and Dylan. I mean, there was a lot of chemistry there, and they kept on coming up with so many reasons not to. And I feel like GH spends so much time in a relationship, like telling you why they can't be together. And we see so many scenes about that. Like, just get to it.
But if you're going to do that, have a good reason. Like okay, the Jordan and her relationship. If you're going to have a reason why they're not together, have that reason be Sean.
Yeah.
TJ's dad. And then you have, Sean, and Curtis both kind of done work for Sonny. Like, wait, we want the same woman. This is, your nephew is my son, and we have to try to work together. Like, that storyline dynamic would have been a lot more interesting to me.
And that's the thing is, has anyone even reached out to Sean Blakemore? Because, that sounds way better than bringing in some random aunt that it's like, okay, at least it wasn't like a cheating storyline or a triangle, but at the same time, it was ill-conceived and didn't really hit on the points it could have.
But why is he still in jail? He didn't do it. We all know he didn't do it.
We all know he didn't do it. Like,
nobody's. You feel like Sonny. I mean, he seems like a really loyal guy. If you do something for him, he's going to help you out. The fact that he has done nothing to get Sean out of there, like put Diane on it. I'm sure Diane would get him out of there in a second. No, hasn't had anything like that. So we get to see Sean just stewing away there. Damn it. So we also, talking about relationships, we've got Parker and Christina kind of to start to kind of make their way together again. I don't know about you guys. I mean, it's like, hey, I'll great for trying new things, but that age difference, it still seems so weird to me.
Well, and a lot of it is because Lexi Ainsworth does look a lot younger than even she is. And, Ashley looks great, but it's a matter of, I didn't see why they wanted to revisit this when, to me, Christina and Valerie have more chemistry. And that's someone closer to her age and a character that we could see going through this journey. And how great would it be to not only have the first black Spencer, but the first gay Spencer as well? That,
No,
Oh, wait, Lucas. No, Lucas. Yeah, that's right.
But Lucas who?
Yeah, exactly. Right. He's not even here. It's like, yeah, that's right. With Lucas, though, and this would be a reason to have Lucas talk to Valerie.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that they are exist.
And it gives that character actually some purpose.
Yeah, something to do.
Yes.
And
versus
I think
like
they have
being to
chemistry.
talk to of like, me and Curtis are having problems. They're like, why are you going to Valerie? Like, why is Valerie getting involved in your relationship? That's.
So, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see where the storyline goes. I mean, considering that, we've got Christina, like, leaving school again to go work at Perks. Like, all right, great. And poor Aaron, where did he go?
Yeah, that
guy.
But
he still working there?
But the storyline has like, stopped and started too many times for me.
Yeah.
Like, now I don't care. Like, okay, we had Ashley back. Ashley came on, okay, then Ashley got pregnant, okay, I understand. So she leaves, and then, she comes back from maternity leave for a little bit, and then she leaves again. Oh, now, no, she's back really for real this time, she's back. And it's just like, I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't have much confidence in GH really kind of following through on a storyline like that. Other young relationships there, it seems at least do a little bit better, is Michael and Nell.
Oh.
Walker's a big fan of the storyline. Lay it on us, Walker. What's driving you crazy about the story?
Terrible. Nell.
What don't you like about it now?
Everything.
Really?
No, I don't like the character. I think that character, once it was that reveal, I think she should have been gone out and move on to the next, bring someone else new.
Well, I think that Chloe should have been Serena or somebody else. That I mean, she is great at this evil storyline, or whether it's not even really evil storyline. She was good at that, but she's also a fine actress. Just they don't seem to know who this character is, and it's frustrating.
I think. Okay. I thought she was fine when she played. When they did the 50th anniversary.
Yeah,
she was amazing in that. And then somehow between there and now, maybe it's the writing, maybe it's like the character, maybe they haven't had like a firm grasp on the character, and so she hasn't really found her footing. I
think that has a lot. Because
I feel like that has a lot to do with the GH younger cast. Period. Like with Robert, with him leaving, I don't really feel like he actually got to make Dylan his own.
True.
I feel like. Because to me, like, he never felt Dylan to me, and so and I don't blame it him. I blame that the writers never like really kind of okay, here we're going to establish you in this one way. You brought him back. Okay, well I still make films. Oh wait, I'm a photographer. Oh wait, I'm not this. And it's just like there was just so many missing. Like Dylan and Maxie had like such a huge history, and they talked about it a little bit, but you would have thought that like. It would have been like more centered than what it was, or like Georgie's death, like or her anniversary. Like Spinelli and Maxie talk about Georgie more than Dylan, who was they were like their first loves. So I think like maybe Chloe's kind of suffering the same thing as Robert has. It's like here's a character that we kind of had an idea what we were going to do, but now we kind of just don't know what we're going to do. And here she had a fiance who she killed, or did she not kill? And just like But it goes back to what you're saying, like, you can't have a couple just to be a couple. It's like, oh, wait, here's another obstacle between two. Not that Carly hating your girlfriend's guts isn't enough that could be a storyline. We have to do this, contrive, like, oh, she had an ex that, maybe she murdered. Like, that's not needed.
Yeah, it's, I feel like everything was, once the whole nail reveal happened for why she was originally in Port Charles, and it was so underwhelming, and it made her look like such a fool. Like, this is what a way to just really take the legs out from under this character. And I feel like for me then, I just really never had much value in that character after that. And now they're just trying to give her a different spin. And when the sister of her dead fiance comes and visiting, that was just such a weird scene.
Yeah, I mean, and two, I don't really understand why this was necessary. No. It's like, and you're just like, okay, I don't. Just next.
You brushed your defense. You seem a lot like my brothers. I'll give you a piece of advice that he never got. Stay away from this lady. Like,
and I don't see, like, what is Michael's, what does he see that, like, oh my gosh, like, this woman, I have to be with her? Like,
it was that or Carly immediately. Michael says one time, like, I'm not going to make this function. Oh, no, it's happening again. She's after my son.
And then it's just like... Wait, what? How big of a, leap was that? I know Carly's cray-cray, but, like, really? He couldn't make this one thing and you're flipping out?
I know. Oh, my goodness. All right, so let's just have a little fun here. How soon do we think Jason Morgan is back in Port Charles and he sees Sonny and Carly?
I think for this big romantic reunion, they're gonna save it for November sweeps.
A month of this,
and not even the beginning. It's gonna be like the 20th, like right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be like towards the end.
That makes me sad.
Or May even into December.
Oh gosh,
God,
please no. But sadly, I would not put it past GH.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of the GH Report. Walker, thanks so much for sitting in with us.
Thank you. Wow, this time went by fast.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's when you're talking GH, I mean, time just flies by, doesn't it? So, Walker, thanks for joining us here. And if you want to continue the conversation with us, even after the show's over, where's the best place to find you online?
You can find me online, Twitter. I am Walker R.
And I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys. You can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one. And if you can't get enough of me and Frank, you can always watch us on Book Circle Online, AfterBuzz TV's sister network. We do the Comic Book Exchange live every Wednesday at 10 p.m. And so we will also be live at LA Comic-Con on October 28th. You could actually see me and Frank in person. We might even set up a little autograph booth if they'll let us.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Only gonna end
I know. Yes.
Folks,
It'll be unauthorized.
Of course, you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks everybody for joining us in the chat. We really appreciate you watching and chiming in about your thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Folks, until next week, have a great week watching Port Charles. Let's hope that Jason Morgan makes his way back swiftly to Port Charles. See you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.